Thanks for tuning in to That's What I Call Marketing, the Cannes Sessions. Brought to you by Friedman International, the international campaign experts taking the pain out of your multi-market campaigns. I'm your host, Conor Byrne, and having worked with Friedman International in my previous role as a global marketing leader, I've experienced firsthand their deep level of expertise and attention to detail as the go-to experts for all international campaign needs. Now, let's get right into today's episode of That's What I Call Marketing, the Cannes Sessions.
Welcome back to the Cannes session. I'm waiting for Colin Lewis to join me. He is on his way down. We've actually managed to squeeze ourselves here onto one of the yachts. And as you can hear in the background, there is a party going on the boat beside us. And I think there's about one going to be starting on this yacht. So it isn't exactly the quietest of backgrounds, but hopefully you can hear us okay. Look, a really busy day. I got to meet Mauro Porcini, who's the SVP of Design at PepsiCo. What an incredible person to spend time with. God, it was really inspiring, and that episode's going to come out soon. I got to catch up with Matt Herbert from Tracksuit. Those guys are amazing. I've talked to Conor Archibald before on the podcast, and you know they're just so laser focused on what they're doing, and their sound as well. I did get to see Elon Musk. I posted earlier on about the size of the queues trying to get in to see him. It was like they were giving away free cars, and they weren't. But it was a really interesting talk. I got to see it backstage in the press area, and it started with Mark Reed from WPP asking Elon Musk, why did he tell advertising to go fuck ourselves last year? And he ended up talking about, censorship versus free speech. He agrees that advertisers have a right to be beside the content they align to, and he believes in free choice, but he didn't really at that point talk about brand safety. But he did come back to it later on to say that they're A-rated across all these different third parties that rate them in terms of brand safety. Mark Reed asked him, had he any regrets? And, he said, not every post I make is a banger. And I shoot myself in the foot sometimes. But as he said, it's genuine, it's him, it's not a pure machine. He wants to make X a place where ads are as good as the content, and that the old Twitter wasn't really doing that. He wants to talk about improved matching for, people on the platform and for advertisers, and he kind of put out a plea to give feedback to the platform. He said X is smaller. He said we are smaller. He gave some big numbers, but they are smaller than the other platforms. But he said we have the most influential people on the world on the platform. If you want to get to Mark he said X is smaller. It's smaller than all the other platforms, all the social media platforms. He didn't shy away from that, but he goes, we have the most influential people in the world on the platform. So, recognizing that they have a role to play. He talked about the AI glass being 80% full. He said there are some risks, some things to be concerned about, but he wouldn't really go into the detail of what he felt those were. And he said, AI will be creative and it will be original in the future. He's talked about humanoid robots. He said they are good-looking robots. It's really interesting, all the things that he is involved with. He talked about implants and, the opportunity they have to restore full body mobility. And look, you talk about Elon Musk and X and all that kind of stuff, but when he talks about stuff like that, you're kind of going, this guy could be doing some good for the world. He was asked how does he decide on kind of what ideas to go, and he said, that's probably pretty easy. Execution hard. He said there are no pitches. He laughed when he was asked, is he a data-driven decision maker? He said he talked about the end user and their decisions. And so, look, it was a really interesting and engaging conversation, and that's what came across from Elon Musk. He's really charismatic and, engaging, and it was a fascinating session to watch. Colin is here for the Cannes sessions. Colin, how was your day? You were presenting.
I was presenting, and not just at any time, at the same time Elon Musk was on stage.
I thought the cue was for you.
Well, that's what I told everybody. But actually went pretty well. There was like 300 people in the room. I was followed by Walmart on stage, so it was a huge crowd there. went very well. I'll tell you about the content in a second, but yeah, and that's the great thing about Cannes, which is there's so much going on anytime. There's an audience for almost everything.
Yeah, well, that's true. You're downplaying it a bit, but like it doesn't,
Almost everything, including me.
Yeah, well, look, it was a phenomenally busy day again. Like it's just been,
It's so busy that we managed to get onto a yacht and listen to some sort of Mark Knopfler lookalikes next door to us here as well.
Yeah, he's just doing the guitar solos. So I actually went over to RTL Ad Alliance again today.
Excellent.
And I was hanging out there for a bit, and they had a great session on it was like, should you win a line? Should you care about winning a line? So
the answer is yes.
The answer was yes. So Adam Morgan was there. Of course, Adam's
Adam's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's a terrible nice bloke, and the stuff he's done is groundbreaking. I love Adam Morgan.
Yeah, the cost of being boring, and as he said, it's catching on. He's good at branding.
His book. Every marketer reading this book, you have to buy Eat the Big Fish.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You have to read it and understand it. He's the definitive guy who created the concept of challenger brand. He's a great guy as well.
You seem dead sound, and I like, me, I like sound people. One of my favourite brands, Canva.
Oh, yeah,
I
cool.
love Canva. So I sat down today with Jimmy Knowles, who's their head of experiential, and anyone who saw kind of the Canva product launch, the rap battle. So Jimmy takes us through that whole thing, and I'm going to put that out.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Such a lovely guy as well. So
does this mean that when you get home now, you're going to be dancing through the front door, Connor? Is that how it's going to work? And you'll be singing songs about Cannes to your family?
I did that anyway.
Oh, that's right. You did that anyway.
That's why they're happy I'm away.
The other thing, I do actually want to talk about what I talked about today for a couple of good reasons, okay? I talked about 2 Irish brands today on stage, and I really wanted to give them, as they say, a shout out. Now, what I was talking about was commerce, media, and creativity, and the sort of flywheel you can create about that. And I talked about the billion-dollar brand that you don't know, which is Optimal Nutrition. And I went through how Optimal Nutrition have activated their campaign right across the world over the last 6 months, and now that's led to a 5% gross overall improvement in revenue. And then finally, I talked about a brand run by a lady from Limerick called Leonie Lynch called Just Be, which is D2C brand, but also distributed in Super Value. It's collagen, protein, and the best, most sensational taste you can imagine. I'm a huge fan anyway. And she's kind of got that problem that all startup brands has, that 2 or 3 years into the picture, how do we get more kind of oomph? And hers was what I call the creativity part of the flywheel. And she got a guy to do makeup all over her body in the exact replica of this incredible design that she has on her packaging.
Yeah.
The packaging was designed by a Dutch designer called Head Off, which is just amazing. And the idea of the design and the packaging is that her product reaches every, blood cell in the body, and how this painting, how the fact painting her body represents her, literally representing the brand. Now, it's not some crazy thing. Leonie is a woman married with 3 kids with a doctorate in branding. And the idea and the visuals and what she's created is spectacular. We're going to get Connor to share them on That's What I Call Marketing, because I believe in this so much, and I'm going to put it on my own socials as well. It was the best thing I've seen all day, and it wasn't even my idea.
I did also catch up with some more people at the RTL stage. Let's just hear what they have seen today at Cannes. Hi, thanks a million for joining me. Can I ask what's your name and what you do?
So my name is Diana Flutur. I work for the International Advertising Association, who's actually here at the RTL Beach. We are a partner of theirs. And I personally oversee the organization of a global conference. It's a European conference called Creativity for Better. So for me, creativity for us is the one inexhaustible resource that can actually differentiate businesses and also create some good in this world.
I love hearing that. I've spoken to some amazing people previously, and today I spoke to Mauro Porcini from Pepsi. He talks about that as well, really passionate. There are some people here who have said creativity isn't a force for good, isn't good for business.
No. No, absolutely not. I don't know who said that, but I don't believe them and I don't agree with them. And I think that now creativity is the only one value that can differentiate. There's so many businesses, there's so much clutter.
Yeah.
How do you choose between one and the next one? So it's because they're brave, it's because they're creative, it's because they have a viewpoint and they make a stand. And that's the brands or even the agencies that you will select for your business or for your, if you're a consumer to consume and so on.
Yeah, and so like you see the winners of the lines, whether it's a bronze, silver, gold.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. And
It's
just
phenomenal.
that creativity. Have you gone down to see the work?
I've seen the winners, but I
Okay.
have not seen the work, no.
Yeah.
But I am a big fan of Cannes and the Lions, and I wish them all good luck because it's a great thing just because they're there.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. Well, listen, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
stepping
as well.
out. I'm looking forward
And
to
check out Creativity for Better.
I will.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll get you back on for a full episode, maybe, if that's what I call marketing.
Maybe, why
sometime.
not?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'd love that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Two other people, Sasan and Léoda, and they joined me just to give me a bit of their insight into what they were talking about, why they care about creativity. So we will hear from them now. I don't believe in creativity. I know.
Do you hate procurement? Yes.
Yeah, I know. No. Sasan, thanks a million. You've just joined me straight off the panel here at RTL Ad Alliance talking about should you win a line, and you definitely have a view that people should be winning lines. It's good for business.
I have an absolute clear view that with the fact that world's getting crazier, with the clutter of kind of work out there, everyone's kind of trying to scream for the same attention. I think our job in marketing and advertising is essentially about creating unignorable content.
Yeah.
Which means that you make unignorable marketing, which means that your brand needs to be something that brands can ignore,
Yeah.
and the work that goes with it. And I think this festival is all around rewarding and awarding great brands that do unignorable content, and I think there is a direct correlation between that and effectiveness and results, and hence I think it's absolutely vital for brands to actually focus on lines to make sure that they create the best work.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of mediocre work out there, though. There's a lot of work that isn't good. I think, those System 1 evidence, and Adam Morgan talked about it there, that, a 30-second ad of a cow munching grass performs better than a lot of the ads out there. Why is that, do you think?
In terms of kind of having mediocre work out,
Yeah.
I think. Look, for me, the difference and the secret sauce between having great creative work and brands that do great creative work, for me goes back to the client.
Right.
I have many examples of the fact that the work just gets better and better every year. The fact that the content just becomes magical. It goes down to that one magical format of kind of attribute, which is the client themselves.
Yeah.
So when you have great clients that are visionary, that believe in creativity, I think the work itself,
Yeah.
comes out much better. So I think that for me is the answer to your question on
Yeah.
why is it that some brands just
Don't have it.
don't have
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's, it just goes down to that. And I think the creative agencies, as I was mentioning, the creative agencies always get the blame, no matter what. But I don't think it's just creative agencies, because in 9 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
creative agencies come up with great work, but then it relies on the client whether that work actually sees the light of day or not.
Yeah,
So,
as Johnny Cahill from Heineken USA said to me, CMO of Heineken USA, he said, like, the job of the client is to sell the work internally as well, and that's a real skill. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it comes with time, and certainly something agencies
Yeah.
can help with. You did talk towards the end about the role of some of the platforms
Yeah.
and maybe some of the, I would say, damage they've done, but like the short-termism and short-formism that they're kind of promoting.
Yeah, I think. Look, everyone is trying to do what's right for them to do their share, kind of within the wider spectrum that's called
Yeah.
marketing, right? So I think it's a long street. I think they haven't kind of destroyed things, but I think it's always been one-sided, where they want to do what's right for their platform.
Yeah.
So they always come and they tell you, they share results about what is effectiveness on their platform. And I think there has to be a combination of the reality that they're sharing with you and the reality that's outside of that platform as well. So I think it's a combination. And I think when brands go wrong is that they put their entire marketing and they just become siloed, focused on that this is what this platform's telling me and I need to do that.
Yeah.
And that's not long-term marketing. That's not effective marketing. That's not how big brands are built.
Yeah.
On short-term and on just tactical work that you just put on a platform. That's not the way marketing should be.
Yeah, I think anyone who's going to do just one thing and hope that's going to be the silver bullet,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks a million for stopping by. Appreciate you telling us what you were here to talk about. Thanks a
you very
million.
much. Thank you.
Thanks a million for joining me. You're just off the RTL stage talking about should you win a line or not. A lot of the conversation was just about the role of creativity. Now, you thought, I found it quite interesting, you were kind of saying that there is a bit of a role maybe for short-term creativity. And when you said that, what I picked up was sometimes you need to make the case for creativity, and sometimes
Yes.
doing that in a short campaign can actually help win people over.
Yeah, when I was talking about short, I was actually trying to say that it was like, one campaign. Sometimes some project, it's a project-led
Yeah.
campaign, you know what I mean? Like, but this campaign, this project is going to add up to other projects. And it's the sum of those projects that is going to drive long-term brand building. So, and you're absolutely right. Sometimes with client, you just need like this one campaign that is going to turn everything around, and they're going to see that what they're doing is excellent work, and they're going to want more. And that is why also this festival is so important. It's because once they have like tasted the effectiveness of creativity, they have tasted the fact that people are saying you're doing what's best in creativity, it's going to drive some more work, it's going to drive energy, it's going to drive trust between the brand and the agency, and you're going to kind of like do this kind of work again and again and again. And it is proven on every single client that we have, the moment they've been recognized as good marketers here, because this is what it's all about. Like for brands, it's about being recognized as great marketers. For agency, it's about being recognized as great agency. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win, yeah. And you just like having work client side, you have to sometimes just make that case, and you're not going to necessarily make it by saying we're going to do this over the next 5 years. Sometimes, especially in kind of organizations that are growing and scaling. But there is an awful lot of dull work out there. Why is that?
I think it's because it takes a lot of courage and braveness to do something that is not dull. I mean, it's like some people just like don't want to take any risks, and it takes risks to do something that is like make you uncomfortable or is completely out of your regular system. And I think it's like in life, some people just like lean into mediocrity and it's fine, and some people don't. And I think the best brands and the best marketers just don't, and they want what's best for their brand, what's going to drive the best image, and what's going to drive the best profitability at the end. But I think dullness, it's just much more easier to do. It was easy to do.
So boring.
And when you have like big pockets and when you have money, you can do that. But I think there is lesser and lesser brands that do have enormous pockets. So
exactly. You have to kind of push the boundaries, and also like nobody cares about your product or your brand in their everyday life, really. So
depending on the brand.
I don't think anyone cares about any brand.
I think I think you know what, like at Marcel, we used to say that we are building brands that are changing things, and our enemy is indifference. Yeah. Absolutely. Like exactly what you just said. Brand that no one cares about, no one wants to buy, no one talks about. And I think those brands, to the question in the panel before, probably will disappear in the next few years, because they're going to have one competitor that is going to have the same products, a little bit different, but basically the same product or the same service, but they're going to develop the brand around it that is going to smash the competition. Do great work. I'm going to ask you, and I don't know if you have perspective on this, it didn't come up on the panel, but B2B marketing. Have you any, because I think B2B marketing is probably some of the worst marketing out there, because we do product features. I think there is like great B2B marketing. I think B2B marketing is now recognized at Cannes Alliance within a category. So I think there's
But even the winners list is really short.
What do you mean by short?
Like there's not a lot on it. Like it's not.
Because it's a process. You know what I mean? Like I think B2B marketers have been like said that they were not doing like creativity, and it was not B2C, so it wasn't worth it. That sometimes they're kind of like living the idea that it's not, that you can't do creativity on B2B, and I think that this is absolutely
I agree they can.
wrong.
I just think there's not enough of it. I
think they can.
I think we agree with each other.
They just need the right people kind of like to care of B2B and make the good work.
Exactly. I completely agree with you there. Well, listen, thanks so much for stopping by to chat to me. It's great to get you straight off the panel. It was a really great panel. So
thank you.
Thanks a million.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Cheers. I actually did pass by Brand Innovators, and they had someone on from Peacock talking about sports and the Olympics and how they're going to they're kind of saying they learnt a lot from previous sports events and how they're really going to kind of activate against the Olympics this year.
Well, speaking of that, so the one big surprise for me yesterday, as in a sort of jaw-dropping surprise, was the fact that FIFA have a location on the beach here. Now, I'm talking like FIFA, not like, a bank or a brand. No, it's FIFA, and it's huge. it's amongst the biggest stands on the beach. I still am skeptical about the idea, because you're kind of going, well, why do they need to get sponsors? Because they're kind of FIFA, and the inventory is kind of full. So that was quite an interesting one. I mean, we've touched on it the last few days, but right beside it there was another stand, another beach. Cabana, it was a monster thing, where the only thing talked about was sports marketing, and the only sports marketing people were American stars, so American football, American soccer stars. There was no David Beckham's there. It's really so different to what I expected this year. It is essentially, instead of an American in Paris, it's an American in Côte d'Azur.
Let's talk to Marisa from Equativ, who's actually the one who invited us on the boat. So let's hear from
Big
Marisa.
Thanks to Marisa.
So I'm here on the Equativ boat in the harbour in Cannes. Thanks so much for having me here. Can you just introduce yourself so everyone knows who you are and what you do?
Oh, sure. So I'm Marisa Nelson. I'm the EVP of Marketing and Communications at Equativ.
Obviously, you're in a global role, EVP of Marketing. Equativ, how big is the team globally?
Sure. So we actually are growing, which is exciting. We just announced our merger with ShareThrough. So currently we've expanded. We are now in 18 countries and over 700 employees. So it's a lot of cover over the world. It's really exciting.
That's incredible. And like people trying to then figure out, I guess, the cultural nuances, also the time zones of working with people.
Exactly. Yeah, so that will take a little time, but we're excited to meet new people and experience, new people all over the world.
That's brilliant. It's going to bring a whole new kind of energy and
100%. Expertise, energy.
Expertise and energy.
I love that.
It's like you work in market. So look, tell me a bit about your week here at Cannes, what you've kind of been talking to people about, what are the big themes that have been coming up for you?
Sure. So it's a really great time to just get everybody together. Like I said, we're a global company, so getting perspectives from people all over the world is really interesting. So we've been talking about things like AI, which we know is a hot topic, data, addressability, everybody knows with the cookie going away, not going away, just how we can all work together. So all those topics, curation is really big for us. So just making sure that we are doing things in a privacy safe manner. And always respecting the consumer. Like that's a big topic that's come up probably in most of our discussions. But again, just being able to talk to people one-on-one has been really interesting to get their perspectives on where things are going, what the future looks like. So it's really great. And also as a company, I get to see people that I haven't seen. For example, my team is predominantly from different countries. And I got to be together for the first time in a long time. So
that's nice.
Exciting.
That's nice. I'm really interested. I was saying to you, I've kind of done a role similar to that previously. How do you manage that kind of international team and knowing kind of when's the right time to put people in certain markets?
Yeah, it's hard, but you lean into the people who are in those markets and trust that they know best their customers and how to work with teams. And for me, managing a global team, just knowing like how to interact with them and at what time in the day. I have people in Paris and New York and LA, and let's say that we all have to come together and connect. But we manage now. We have technology, which is so helpful.
It does help. It does help.
It really does.
Have you had a chance to see any talks or any of the speakers, or has it really been here kind of engaging with customers and clients?
Yeah, so for the first time we have a content hub that's separate from our boat. So it's been great. We've had 5 panel sessions. I just finished one with the Women in Programmatic Network. Which was awesome, and it brought together women from all over the world, from different companies, some of which are competitors. So it was actually really nice to have this like collaborative conversation where it was really about being a woman and what that means in ad tech. And then we've had topics about addressability, like I mentioned, and just other topics about CTV and like the future of programmatic and all of those things that people want to know about. But it was nice to have a mix of something a little bit more personal and then also topical for the industry. So we did that, but I haven't had a chance to see other sessions. No, so I'm going to be watching a lot of recordings.
Okay, I'm a bit the same, to be honest. I got to watch Elon Musk's fireside today, so that was it.
Exactly. We're going to do a lot of streaming. That will be my plane ride home.
And I think you're going to sleep.
I hope so. Yeah, what am I talking about?
So what's the plan for the rest of the week?
So tonight we have a happy hour. So we've been leaning into like a lot of our partnerships with Adelaide and Curve.
Okay.
So that'll be another way, just again, to just like meet different people, all come together. And then the rest of the week is really about meetings. We've
Right.
done all of our sessions, which have been so informative. And I think people are kind of like now excited to like go explore.
Okay, yeah,
We only have a few days left before everybody crashes.
Yeah. And you've been here before to Cannes. Have you noticed any difference, or, you know, kind of the size, scale, or even some of the people who are here kind of exhibiting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are definitely branching out. Last year, they've done a lot of construction from last year, so I think people are getting more innovative in
Yeah.
ways that they're trying to engage with people. It's not just about doing a boat and activations on the beach. You know, for example, our content hub was really nice. It was something different that we haven't done.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually interested to take a tour soon and see like really what people are doing.
I'm just not sure you're going to get time.
I know,
I'm looking at you
you're
going,
You're gonna have to tell me all about it.
Yeah. Well, I did walk past here last night, and I know there was a great party going on.
Yeah.
So, look, you've doing a great job, kind of making people enjoy the experience, because we have to celebrate what we do in marketing,
We have to
don't
celebrate
we?
what we do, and we have to celebrate each other. We're all part of this.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it's important that we celebrate our achievements. We learn from each other. We're here for one time. We're
Yeah.
in Cannes,
Yeah.
which really is not so bad.
Yeah.
So
No sympathy
let's
at
lean
home.
into it and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very grateful for the fact that we're here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate
thank you so
chatting to
much.
me, and enjoy the rest of the week at Cannes.
You too.
I
And
will.
we will get some rest soon, right?
Yeah. At least if you have a long plane ride home, you can
Exactly.
probably sleep.
Oh yeah, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm sleeping.
Marisa, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Connor.
Thank you. Well, look, tomorrow I'm going to be over at LinkedIn trying to catch people to talk about best of B2B.
Great, and Keith is Browning, our friend from LinkedIn, has just launched a big campaign, so I'm sure he'll be on his last legs by Thursday.
He's going to be
but
on his
we'll
last
see.
legs. I think he might be leaving tomorrow, so I'm going to try to grab Keith before he goes. But, you know, it's interesting just to see kind of, you know, we need to get more B2B in Cannes. I'm kind of on an obsessed mission about it. But look, I'm going to talk to people about great B2B marketing.
Even if you're in FMCG, it's all B2B, because your customer is the retailer, not the guy in the street, or the woman in the street, whatever. It's kind of one of my frustrating points. People talk about it as, but actually the person writing the check is the
B2B,
retailer.
yeah.
And we need to reframe that conversation around that, which is because the retailer, you can have a great product, the retailer doesn't like the deal on the table or the sell-through you're promising, you're at the door.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And the other thing tomorrow I'm looking for is Darren McCoy from Doc Martens.
Fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to speak to Karen from Duolingo. So he's regional marketing director in India. So that's going to be fantastic. Well, listen, thanks a million for joining me all week. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.